Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Duolingo. So what is it? Well, it's a free language learning platform that simultaneously allows you to translate the web. I definitely love using it because of the fact it's free, and we'll talk about why it's able to be free in just a minute. It was developed by Louis von Ahn, who is the same guy that created CAPTCHA and reCAPTCHA, and that's the stuff that you type in to make sure you're a human and not a computer trying to submit something on the web over and over again. And the interesting thing about Duolingo, I didn't want to place it in just one category. I honestly feel like it can fall in all three because it does have some gaming aspects. It is mobile learning because you can play it not only on the computer but on your iPhone and iPad or any tablet. And it's also Web 2.0 because it allows user review and feedback on certain material. Some of the major features, one is being the experience points, also known as XP. You get to choose how many points you want to achieve a day to maintain your practice. So when you go on the Duolingo, it's this little part at the top right, and so for me, my experience point today is 10, so once I reach that, it tells me I'm good and I can go past that. The other major feature is the ability to strengthen your skills. If you haven't had time to practice in a while, it's going to show you on the screen and it'll let you sharpen those skills. So for me, I was a little bit weak in the clothing area. I was missing my top bar even though I had completed it before. And so I can either go up to the top to click the strengthen skills, or I can click directly onto the little clothing button itself and click strengthen clothing. Once I go on there, it'll pull up the screen.
Su zapato.
And as you can see, it's testing me over what I already learned.
Las gafas.
Alright, third feature is the ability to read, write, listen, and speak the language. There's so many different opportunities for you to actually engage with the language, is why I think I like
Marido.
it. So for instance, this one I'm typing what I heard.
Mi esposa cocina.
This one I'm typing what I see, translating it.
Él es mi tío.
I have to listen to this and then type what I hear, which is a little bit challenging. And I made an error there. And that's the best part. You get to speak.
¿Qué haces tu tía?
And it tells me if I'm right or wrong, which I think is great. The last major feature is the lingots. It's a virtual currency that you can use to power up or get other cool incentives. And so once you get these, you can actually use them in the lingot store. So if you, as you can see at the top, I have 30 lingots right there. And so if I go to the lingot store, I can see what I can afford with my 30 lingots. So I can power up, doing streak freeze or double or nothing. I can also use it for more practice. It could be either timed or a just quiz. There are bonus skills, so if you know you want to amp up your skills, there's also this cool one about flirting. Maybe you should try that one out. And then you get basically lingots from a couple different things, such as leveling up, finishing a skill, 10-day streaks, inviting friends, and then uploading documents. So now let's check out the functionality of Duolingo. It's very user-friendly. As soon as you log on, you can tell everything is pretty much, you figure it out on your own. You just play around with things. So all of these in gold, that means I have already accomplished those. One's not in gold, that's things that I haven't tried out yet. And so if I were to click on it, it would take me to the new page. As you can see, I did lesson 1, but need to do lesson 2, and all I do is click begin. I can also test out of things if I feel like I know enough information that I don't need to take it anymore. On the right side, I like this part. It actually shows your progress over a couple days span. So for me, I've been doing it 4 days straight. It tells you how much time you have left in a day to meet your experience point goal, which is right here. And then it also gives you the opportunity to strengthen skills and review flashcards of terms. I like it because you can compete with friends, which is really big with this idea of gamification. Everything else is set up kind of like a game too. You keep going through these levels to level up. You can also get these little thing called lingots, and then use them in the lingot store, which I talked about a little bit earlier. I like the stuff up here. So words, it shows what words you've learned. The activity, it shows my progress throughout the entire course. Discussion. These are usually discussions initiated by users, just random things, sometimes about specific things they are learning in the program. And then this part, immersion, where you actually get to translate particular documents that are posted on here into the language that you are currently learning. So very user friendly. I mean, you can literally click on anything, and I don't think you can't figure something out on here. So the big question, how does this enhance our learning? Well, one, it gives you the opportunity to recover from mistakes, which I know we mentioned in class is such an awesome opportunity that a lot of teachers overlook in the classroom for students. It gives you instant feedback on your mistakes, and that also is what boosts your interest in the material, because once you make a wrong answer, you quickly try to learn how to correct it. So right here you can see at the bottom left, it offers you the correct solutions in multiple ways. It also allows users to communicate about other ways that these words are used. So for instance, mama came up in one of the things, and so there was a bit discussion amongst the group people about, is this formal or informal? I thought madre was mother, and so people from different countries chimed in and how they use that word in their country. Lastly, it involves learners in translating the web. I think this is one of the most important ones because it actually pushes you to use one of the 4 C's, which is collaboration. It does it among the novice, intermediate, and advanced users. It gives you documents such as this one where it's in Spanish or any other language and you have to translate it. So to show you how Duolingo can help enhance learning, specifically through the third bullet point about translating the web through collaboration, I want to take you to the immersion part of Duolingo because I think this is where the most benefit comes from. So if you scroll through here, you can see a ton of documents that were actually uploaded that needed translation. So if I were to click on Coldplay, you will have their document pulled up of whoever posted it. So if someone pulled up, it looks like their Wikipedia page. And so on the right, it gives you a little legend. It says, not yet translated, still in blue. Translation needs checking in gray. Checked by the community in black, and then translated or checked by you in green. So as you can see, I've checked some of these, so that's why they've turned green. The ones in blue have not yet been translated and have I can easily click it and translate it if I want to. So that looks like period of activity. I can submit that translation. And so people can mark, does it look good, does it look wrong, based off what I posted. And that gained me 1 experience point just for doing that. So people are going to be collaborating with me and telling me, do they think my translation was right or wrong? And then from there, the more likes it gets, then the more translations will be approved. And then once all of these are approved, then you'll see this progress bar continue to increase, and once it's all the way at the top, they actually take that document away as being fully translated and good, and then they upload new ones. So it's really helpful to use this particular part of the immersion to enhance our learning, because you feel motivated because you can do topics that you're interested in, such as Harry Potter. Who doesn't love Harry Potter? You can easily click, and most of this has already been checked by the community, but you can just test your knowledge. I did 2 of these. I was like, Fantasia, well, I knew that's fantasy. And you can hover and make sure Inglés means English. So you can go through these things and really learn about it. So just like with anything else, there are limitations to Duolingo. One, there's a lack of advanced bilingual speakers to provide the feedback for those higher levels with the harder sentences. And this is a problem that was discussed in not only Garcia's research, but also the effectiveness study. And they both kind of talked about how there's no control for all the possible sentence variants, and that's where bilingual speakers really come in to give those different options of how you could say a sentence. And so that was a huge limitation that a lot of the research talked about. Sometimes the sentences were not cohesive, or common phrases that were used in the language. It mentioned words that you don't really hear a lot of the countries say. I know Garcia harped on this in his actual research, that it wasn't logical. And lastly, it does not include audio visuals, such as real snippets from live news anchor shows from in the Spanish language or German language, and asking people who are using this program to actually translate it. And lastly, there's really no creativity here. I mean, it is you get it right or you don't. You can translate it or you don't. There's no creative aspect really to Duolingo. It's a creative, I guess, app, but not creative in the sense the users can be that way. Future recommendations, I would say include audiovisual snippets from news that users can listen to and translate. I know that's sometimes the hardest thing, is actually listening to someone speak really fast and translate what they say, so I think that would benefit Duolingo if they did that. I would say also make it more appealing and challenging for advanced users. I know some of the research said that this isn't really feasible for higher learners because it doesn't challenge them, and so they can make some levels that are that way. You can use their insight into those lower levels and adding feedback. And then try to incorporate sentences that are commonly used in that language, or at least make logical sense. Don't say the giraffe drinks beer. It just doesn't make sense. And so that was a problem that a lot of people harped on with it. And then lastly, along with 4C skills that already foster as well, such as the communication and collaboration, it needs to try to make higher levels that will require even stronger critical thinking skills and the creative components that we harp on for the 4Cs.